So some misconceptions about pediatric nephrology. Well, I hear from my residents and my medical students a lot, and also some of my colleagues, that nephrology is a big black box. They have no idea what goes on in the kidney, and it's a lot of numbers, and it's a mystery, and it's scary to them. And I hope that a lot of nephrologists, when you work with them, will demystify that. The kidney is a very elegant but simple organ. It does a simple thing but very elegantly, and it can be understood very easily, and that's part of our job, is to explain it. And it usually ends up with our very vexing clinical problem, and our general pediatricians or hospitalists or other subspecialists, we can break it down and explain it and do the patient some good.
So the trainees have this impression that they have to be a genius and to be a pediatric nephrologist, and what I keep telling them is that if you like simple addition, 1 + 1 = 2, you'll be a great nephrologist, then, because you'll be able to figure things out.
It was, for me, I describe it like one of those, back in the 90s, you used to be able to buy one of those pictures where if you just unfocus your eyes halfway, this 3D image would come out at you. And that's the sensation I had during the kidney block of medical school, is that I just banged my head against it until all of a sudden the light switch turned on and it made sense. And I think a lot of people stop banging their heads before that light switch goes on. But once it made sense, once you consider the goals of the kidney, if you consider what the kidney wants to accomplish in the body, then everything it does makes sense. And you can fit every piece of information, of which there are thousands, under one of the ultimate goals of the kidney. And that's when it starts to make sense.
You're so busy as a resident running around trying to figure out which way is up. You know, if it's not specific to what you're doing, you may not take the time to understand the physiology or have somebody that's a good enough teacher to explain it to you. It's very understandable. It's just, it's outside of what residents usually know, so they think it's this big scary black box. But it really isn't. It's very doable.
So one misconception is that I think people who are non-nephrologists have this idea that we know it all, and that's just simply not true. Not any one of us knows every single aspect of nephrology. We are always learning. We are asking our colleagues. We're looking things up.
I think something that's important for young students and physicians who are interested in nephrology is don't be afraid of nephrology. I think a lot of people are scared of nephrology because there's this idea that it's really complicated and people can't figure it out. And there are definitely a lot of aspects of it that are complex, but it's an incredibly rewarding field, and in a lot of ways, pretty straightforward.
You don't really have to be good at math. That's a misconception. I'm terrible at math. I just have a calculator all the time. That's all.
I think that one of the common things I hear the most is that you guys work too hard. You know, residents, in particular medical students, they may see us in the hospital at 2 o'clock in the morning, but they don't see us there very often. And I love it when I have residents page me after 10, 11 o'clock at night, and they're so apologetic. Oh, Dr. Gibson, I didn't want to bother you, and you guys work so hard. And I said, well, you know what? You're paging me. I'm calling you from home, and I'm folding my laundry, and I finished reading my kids a story. And then I get to talk to you about some really fun physiology type things. So you don't need to apologize. This is what I breathe for.